Well, you can see winter has arrived, finally, and I was able to carve a path out to the chicken coop with my snowblower. It's a beautiful day. I love what the snow does to the garden. Yeah. Chicken coop is in the shade. Let's go check on the girls. Hey girls, how you doing in here? You kind of want to go outside, huh? There they all are. Let's check the nest boxes. Oh. Like one of our Aracanas taking care of things. Well, I had mentioned putting an owl house up in that dead tree. That's one of the next projects on the list. And everything is tucked in for the winter. Girl. Well, the view's a little shaded, but they got a nice big picture window in here and a brand new water and a brand new dust bath. Looks like some of them have partaken. I sure like the snow on my boots. Coming to the outside. 8 eggs. Oh, look at this. This one, I don't know if you can see that. It's coming out all wrinkly. That's kind of strange. We had one of the older birds doing that. I wonder if he'll get more wrinkly as time goes on. Maybe it's a double yoker. You see the different chickens putting out different color eggs. I'll collect those. And it does seem like my new chicken tractor, which I built this year, I'll be doing a video on that this winter. But that's shedding some of the snow as well, much deeper pitch to the roof. And the garden is tucked away. You might be able to see some of the rows over there in the garden. You can see a few of the rows just waiting for spring. Well, now that everything on the ground is taken care of, garden's all tucked in, sheds are all ready for winter, it's time to start thinking about the next thing, and that's putting an owl house right up here. Well, that's a good little workout. The wood bin is full, and that gives me a nice comfortable feeling knowing that rain's on the way for the next couple of days. So it's going to be a big storm, so I won't have to come out here to the woodshed for at least 2 or 3 days, and that's a good feeling. So I got the wood inside nice and dry. So maybe it's time we get to that owl house, put it up in that tree over there. Let's go throw that together. That'll be fun. So what I'm looking to do here is make a completely custom owl house, as long as it's made out of this kind of janky L-shaped piece of old pressure treated plywood. This plywood's 4 feet wide, it's about 19 inches to this point, and this L shape on it's about 16 by 16 once I cut it off. So what I'm going to do is knock this into 4 equal pieces to make the box, and I found another piece of thinner plywood to make the bottom, and I think this will be the top, the 16 by 16 inch section over here. So let's break this up into pieces so that we can start assembling our owl house. Now I got 3 boards roughly the same size, and this is going to be my back. It's just a little bit bigger. can see that. It's just a little bit bigger. And it's not entirely straight. Well, I want the bottom of my box to be 10 inches by 11 3/4. And so I have another piece of plywood here that's scrap. This one, whatever project I had some holes in the bottom here. And that's great because I'm going to need some holes for drainage anyway. So perfect board to use. And what I'm going to use to hold up the bottom is a couple of cleats that I'll put on either side of the bird box. So you'll see the bottom looks like this. And then I'll just essentially make a box like this. The front will have a hole in it so the owls can get in and out. And this bottom piece here will be held up a little bit with a cleat. And that way, if I hold it up, I can just push it up and twist it to get it out and clean it out instead of making a fancy door. So that'll be an easy way to push up from the bottom and then turn it to allow the debris inside to come out. So that's the plan. I'll just use another piece of scrap. I've got this piece that I can make a cleat out of, and it's 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch. Looks like I used it somewhere along the line. I'll just cut 10 inches off that twice. I'll put that back in the pile, and I've got a couple of cleats. Well, there are a few more details I want to put together before I start slapping the whole thing together. And one of those is that two of the sides need to be cut so there's a little bit of angle for rain to run off of. And so let's make that cut. All right, that's nice. So there'll be a little bit of slope to our roof once we put that on top. The other details that I have to make are a hole for them to get in. So I need something circular, which I'm going to put at least a foot up on the front piece. So I'll run over to my recycling bin over there, and looks like we got some sour cream here. So let's throw a circle in here. This isn't exactly scientific. But it is circular. So, all right, we have our entry point marked. This is about 3 3/4 inches around, so I think that'll be perfect. Recycle that for another use. So I'm going to get my jigsaw and cut out this hole. I don't have a 3 3/4 inch hole saw. That's nice. And the last thing that I want to do is just make a couple of slits on the inside so that the baby owls can use that to help them claw up. Because they're pretty deep down in here, so they need to be able to get up so they can get out of the nest. So I'm just going to put a few slices on the inside here, just a little bit, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch deep with my skill saw. Now you can see they have a place to stick their little claws in and help them get up to the nest from the inside. So let's start putting this together. I'm going to start by drilling some pilot holes into the cleats and also into the front and the back. There's still one cut that I forgot to make, and that's because I made the angle of the roof and took a couple inches off the front, so the front of the birdhouse won't be the same size. I'll have to cut it down so that the roof can go over the front of the birdhouse. So I'll just do that right now. Well, I did a little bit of pre-drilling so I can make my screws go in a little easier. And now I'm going to put the cleats on and start putting the owl nest together. Now this is what the inside of the birdhouse will look like. And then when we put the bottom in, it will just fit right in there. Just like that. And we'll throw a roof on that, we'll cut one to size, and we'll be in pretty good shape. Just will drop in, just like that. Well, this has been a great project to take something old and unusable and recycle it to a new purpose. And I'm going to leave the top of the nest box off for the moment so that I can put in some pine shavings. Owls do not use their own nesting materials. They use what's there. So I'm going to make it comfortable for some new owls in there by putting pine shavings in there for a couple of inches at the bottom. And then I'll attach it to the old dead tree out in the back, as well as attach a few branches that I've been saving from the tree so that I can put them horizontally in front of this, or as close as I can get it, so that owls will be welcome to land there. So that's the plan. I'll do that tomorrow and hopefully get some film of that. I'll show you how it all turns out. Hey folks, you can see I'm out here in the backyard and you can see the owl nest right here, and I have it hooked on a branch up there, and I'm going to work on putting it in place. And to do that, since it's so heavy, it's made out of pressure treated 3/4 inch plywood. It's very sturdy. So I made a little bit of a bracket here that I'm going to screw into the tree. But one thing is that owls like to be facing south, and south is a little bit off from this direction. So the best way to position it is to get rid of that branch right up here. So I'm going to cut that branch off. That's the south facing side of the tree. And then I'm going to put the box in place of where that branch was after I install the bracket. So that's the plan right now. So I got to get up there and get it done, saw off that branch and put on the bracket. So let's get to work. Well, since it's a little precarious up there, I'm going to try to get it done from a little lower and use this pole saw. It's a little bit out of the reach, but if I get up on the ladder a couple steps, I think I'll be okay. Well, that branch fell right down on the ladder and bounced down the ladder steps right where I was standing previously. So good decision to use the pole saw. Now I'll just get up there and put that bracket up. Well, based on some measurements I did and the safety factor, I think I'm going to point this a little more east. I'm gonna figure out a different way to hang this as well. I'm going to go back to my original thought of putting a backer board behind it. So the owl box, here's the front, and the back I'll just put a board all the way across, but I'm going to cant it a little sideways so that I can screw it to the branch that's up there, to the trunk, and it'll still maintain some levelness to it. So that's a new plan. Got to keep things fluid, go with the flow. Well, in the scrap pile, I have a really good piece of white oak here that's been around for a while, and I need a strong piece of wood. So I'm going to make a cut on this about 31 inches long. Roughly. And then I'm going to put it along the back of the owl nesting box so that I can attach this to the tree easily through the top and the bottom, and I'll attach this to the owl nesting box. But remember, I'm going to have it canted this way a little bit to accommodate the cant of the tree. So here's what the back of it looks like. It's got all those pointy nails in it, so I'm just going to grind those off right now. So now, I just have to put this in. And it falls into place. Beautiful. And now I can put the pine shavings in prior to putting on the roof. I got the pine shavings for the nest, and I'll make it nice and thick, like 2 or 3 inches of pine shavings. And I got those at the feed store this morning. So let me go get those. I think that's pretty good. So now it's the roof. All right, that's it. We should be good to go. So I'm going to hoist this thing up to the top of the tree and see if I can finally put it in place. Well, that's about as dangerous as I want to be for a while. I got to put the ladder up a little higher against the tree trunk and get the top of it, but it's got 4 solid screws in the bottom, and that little ledge that I put in there previously really helped out in holding the weight. So that was a good part of the plan. And now I'll just secure the top, take the wedge out of there, or the shelf that I put down bottom, and we'll wait for owls to come in. So let's finish that up. Yeah, I'm glad that job's done. It looks good. Boy, I hope a big owl goes in that. That's a big box. We'll just see if any birds take up residence. Well, that's another project completed. Hopefully some owls will take up residence and they'll be part of my solution to some of the voles and rabbits and mice that I have eating vegetables out of my garden. So we'll look forward to spring and see if that plan comes to fruition. In the meantime, I'm Scott at the X-Fed Homestead. We'll see you next time.